Hello. So this video is covering AutoCAD initial settings. I had a video that covered this same thing, and some people had lost that video. A couple of things first. I do have a shareable file that is located on the PCHS CAD website. That is the Wix site. So right here, if you do download that template file, you will not have to do anything with layers. However, one first thing that you can do to remind yourself, and I'll just show you how to create a layer. If you click that stack of paper, it said layer properties. You can select the orange stack right up here. I kind of went through that too quickly, but if you select right here, you have a stack of papers, looks like it has a Game Boy next to it. Select that, it pulls up something, and I clicked this orange button, the orange stack of papers. You can then click on the layer, and everything, almost like a Word doc, it comes out like Doc 1, Doc 2. In architecture, you're going to need more layers than you do typically in class like TechCAD. 3D, you'll often use a lot too. So 0, we never draw anything on the 0 layer. That's a reference layer. We just never draw on it, and I always make people swear that they won't. So this was supposed to be called object lines. And object lines are the actual object itself. I can go ahead and make another layer. On this one, I would call it construction. And my construction lines are always yellow. Construction lines are things that we use to locate points. Cheater lines, things that are really not part of the drawing. By placing them on a layer, we can see that they really don't belong there when it's finished, and we can just turn the layer off to print it. You are also going to have a layer called dimension, and that layer, you could make it whatever color you want. Bright colors always better than dark colors. Now I will leave this alone. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to come back. I'm going to finish this. You have two other line types called hidden and center lines. So I'll select a color for my line type. So for hidden, let's say I'll select a light blue. But this right here, if you look at line type, you can see they all say continue, meaning continuous. And if you click that, that just means it's a solid line, right? So we want to change that because hidden lines are dashed lines, okay? So if you scroll down, there's all different types of line types that mean different things. But if I scroll down, I can go to hidden, and then you can see you have hidden 0.5x, and hidden 2x. What that means is hidden is a stock size, given size, kind of the average one that most people will need. But if you were drawing something really tiny and you needed those dashes to come out a little clearer, you would use the 0.5x, or if something was really big, you would use the 2x. So you click it, you double click it, and then you click again, hidden, and you select load. Oh, I'm sorry. You go back and you select OK. And now you can see that this has changed your line type to a hidden line. You finally then go back, and we're going to use a center line. I'll make this like a neon green or something and say OK. And I will go to line type because I don't want it to be that same kind. So I click load, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'll just find center, double click, say OK, and now you have set up all your layers. Okay. So other settings, you type in units. We are going to use decimal units in this case. Our precision, we can change to 0.00. We don't need all those decimal places. And we're going to keep everything in inches. So again, all I had to do was type in the word UNITS, right? Units, okay? Next thing we're going to do, shift and right click. We're going to go to Osnap Settings. So first I'm going to come over here all the way along the top. It's kind of like a ribbon, and I pick Snap and Grid. You want both of these top things to be off. Snap should be off, Grid should be off. We're going to go to Polar Tracking along the top. We want this Polar Tracking to be checked so it is on. We're going to go to Object Snap. Sometimes this Object Snap tracking will be pre-selected. You want it off, okay? You'll know if that's on if your mouse becomes glitchy. On down the left side, the ones that we're going to select will be endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant. Intersection I typically leave toggled off unless I'm doing the specific work. And then perpendicular, you do want that one. Extension would have been toggled on. You want to get rid of that. 3D object snap usually is not on, so as long as that is out, you're good. And then dynamic input, you should turn both of these off. I think it becomes cumbersome, especially if you're working with a little bit lower powered computer. Then you will be better off to go ahead and have these off, okay? And then the final step, type in the word dim style, okay? And we're just going to make a couple of changes to this. When this comes up and we're done making our changes, we do need to go ahead and click the set current button, but I'm going to modify this and I'm just going to make two quick changes. One, yes, I'm going to stay in decimal, but I'm going to change my precision to 0.00. I'm going to go to text. The text height is 0.18. I'm going to change that to 0.25. And then you can see this says 0.09 on the bottom, offset from dimension line. That is always half of your text height. So maybe I'll just make this 0.24 to keep the math easy. And then I'll make this 0.12. Okay. And then last one, symbols and arrows. I'm going to go back and this 0.18 and this 0.09, they follow that same formula. So just make it the same. 0.24 for that. And this was half of that. So I make that 0.12. And you will say, okay, set current and close. And you're done.